make welcome the next presenter, presenter number 2, our very special host for this afternoon's program. He is energetic, he is excited, and he is here from Whet Solutions Backyard Gardening and Hydroponics Webinar 2023. It's not something that he just does. He enjoys, he practices what he preaches, and it brings him great joy. The same joy that he's having, radiate to each of us this afternoon. Gardening has been a part of his life from as far as he can remember, all the way back to Back Bay District in St. Catherine. Even now, he has engaged those of us in the community here in Mandeville. Over the years, of his gardening, he felt more like fertilizing the weeds and feeding the seeds to the ants when gardening because of how very distraught he was in some instances. But as he reflects on those experiences and completing his engineering training at UTech, it shifted his gardening paradigm. In reflecting, he says, were my hands cursed or was I missing something? And guess what? He found the answer to that. The answer that he's about to share with us this afternoon. He decided with the encouragement and support of his wife to give gardening another chance. And this time he was armed with the willingness to learn and simple but powerful biblical principles he learned from being Christians. They learned from being Christians. It was not long afterwards that he recognized his hands were not cursed. They were reaping bountiful blessings. And so much so that he had become a conduit for nature's blessings to his neighbors. I am sure all of us will become his neighbors this afternoon. So time will not allow me, ladies and gentlemen, to tell you a whole lot more about what it is that Haniffe Morrison has experienced, but I'm going to invite him to share that with us and to let him tell you more about the one, the God of heaven, who, God of nature, is allowing him to use his skills and the training and his loving wife and family to share with us this afternoon as he learns and grows for this century and beyond, but most of all, today, the 21st of May. Help me make welcome Haniffe Morrison.
Right. Thank you very much, Simone, for that introduction. I'm really excited about this webinar, and I'm really happy that everyone could join us on this journey as you learn more about backyard gardening. I think it's something that even if we might not have, focused interest, is something that we should at least try to do. I'm here spreading the joy that I get from gardening. I'll be talking to you about my journey through hydroponics, with hydroponics. Let me just pull up some videos here. All right, so back in the pandemic, I was bored in the lockdown. I was spending a lot of time on the screen. And for those of us who work a lot on the screen, the white light can cause you to be depressed sometimes or feel have that low feeling. I was experiencing that. And when experiencing that, I decided that before that, my wife was encouraging me to, Sashana, that's my wife, shout out to her, she's online now. She was encouraging me to do some gardening, some planting. She even got some trees and, some peppers. And she sowed the seed, and I was tasked with watering them. Not having much interest because of my past failures. I neglected them, and, sadly to say that, not one survived. But after getting depressed a bit, having that low feeling from the screen, I decided to go to nature and started gardening. First thing we planted was pineapple, and I realized that was coming. Then I realized that we had some pumpkins coming around the back, and that was flourishing. I said, probably I should take this gardening thing seriously. Being an engineer that looks out for efficiency, I said, all right, I don't have the time. I don't have the energy and so forth to go out in the soil, and time was a major factor though. So I started researching creative ways. Then I came upon hydroponics and I started just playing around with it. And the video that I'm about to share with you now is really just, this is my first system. First is I had just this metal around the back that was just hanging there, and I decided that I'm going to put it to use. So this is the first system with just two pipes, and we planted these. We have in it some lettuce, and I'll tell you what that is later because there's a story. There's a story behind it. All right, and that's the first system. After which it's expanded to this one. To this one. I added one more pipe. And that's Daisy barking in the background. And there's a story with Daisy too. The Daisy story is connected to this looking plant in the background with the lettuce. That's really the beginning of my my gardening story. About 2 to 3 years ago. That was when it started. Let me pull up the PowerPoint though and tell you the story that I have to share with you. All right, so just indicating it in the chat if you are seeing the presentation on the screen. You are?
Yes, yes.
Lovely, lovely. All right. So hydroponics garden. You see, Whet Solution. Whet Solution basically is a business that we are currently forming, to deal with wet issues. So that's anything wet. So hydroponics, plumbing, and so forth. We'll talk more about that later. So I'm Haniffe Morrison. For those who don't know, my Instagram handle is at HC Morrison, or you can find me at Whet Solutions. You can find me on TikTok too. I'm on TikTok too as the Whet Engineer. And also, you can also find me as Haniffe Morrison. All right. So, hydroponics gardening. It was Albert Einstein who said, we cannot solve our problems with the same level of thinking we used when we created them. My friend here, Albert, said, we cannot really solve our problems with the same level of thinking we used to create them. I think, friends, this is a call for us to grow. In order to solve our problems, we need to grow. And what problems have we created? If you look at the World Food Program website, you'll see this statement, and it says, conflict, economic shock, climate extremes, and soaring fertilizer prices combining to create a food crisis of unprecedented proportions. As many as 828 million people are unsure of where their next meal is coming from. That's about the size of Jamaica and plus 2 times 200 and up. That's a lot of people unsure. So one problem that we would have created for ourselves is a global food crisis. And they continue to say, we have a choice. Act now to save lives and invest in solutions that secure food security, stability, and peace for all, or see people around the world facing rising hunger. And that's on the World Food Program official website. One problem that we create is food, is a global food crisis. And I believe a part of the solution is hydroponics garden. So what are we going to talk about today? I told you my story earlier. We're just going to touch on the basics of hydroponics. Just going to try and make it as simple as possible so everyone can understand. It's really something simple. Anybody can do it. You don't need a master's degree. You don't need a degree in engineering. You don't even need to go to school to know how to do it. You just need to follow some simple instructions. I mean, this is not oversimplifying it. You will not get it. You might not get it the first time you attempt it, but if you stick to it, then what I'm saying is that we can all learn how to do it. Okay? And then I'll introduce to you the Whet Solution package system that I have designed. All right, we look at that video earlier. Oh, the story now. This glass of green juice. My first system that I designed, I planted some lettuce and another plant. So I planted kale. Well, let me tell you the full story. Planted kale, cabbage, and broccoli in it. After I sowed those seeds, went away for the weekend, and our dog Daisy got away. And when we came back, the trays were turned over, and we couldn't identify which plant was which. Everything was basically disrupted. So kale and broccoli, they are from the same family. So I went ahead, I planted in faith and waiting for the fruit, so I shall know them. And when I saw them coming up, I said, yes, this is kale. And when they were ready for harvest, I invited my friends over and said, yes, I have kale, man. You can come and pick, because I get joy from seeing people coming and just picking from my hydroponics garden. Then one day I was at home and I was looking at the kale and I said, well, these don't really look like kale. Being a rookie gardener, I took out my phone. And I took the picture and Google, you can Google search photos. And when I look, I realized that broccoli was coming up. Nothing more than I gave my friends broccoli leaves for kale. You know what I did after? I just Googled if it is okay to eat broccoli leaves. And friends, I learned that broccoli leaves are just as nutritious as kale, and you can actually use it to make your green juice. So that was one of my. That was, of course, I told my friends, I couldn't keep it from them that after finding out that it was okay to have broccoli leaves, I told them that I accidentally gave you broccoli leaves instead of kale. And the lesson that we can learn from this is don't be afraid to fail and try. You'll learn something new. Don't be afraid to fail and try. All right? And I see you type in the chat. So don't be surprised if you give people broccoli for kale. All right? So what is hydroponic gardening? Simply, hydroponic gardening is really you growing plants without the use of soil. Basically, you grow them in nutrient-rich solutions, and we'll explore a little of that later. So there are many types of hydroponic systems that we can use, but we can basically categorize them, very nutritious. We can basically categorize them into two simple hydroponic systems. We can categorize them is in really the nutrients, the solution culture system. And this is a system where the plant is suspended in the nutrients. We have nutrient solution here, we have the roots in it, and you make provisions for adding the nutrients. You also make provision for air, because Fitzgerald tell that the air is very important in gardening. Plants need air to breathe, to survive, just like how we need air. All right, so the next one is where you have a medium. It's really the same principle, just that you might add the medium for support. And this is really just a simple system which you can do at home. You can YouTube it and do something like this, you know. But why should we choose hydroponic gardening? No, you know, we live in a society where people are pressed for time, people don't have enough space, and people don't even have enough money. And that is, you know, probably most of us have that problem, the money problem. If you don't have any money problem, you can just reach out to me afterwards. You know, we can talk about it. Probably we can discuss how you can, or I can probably help you solve your problem, and you can probably help me solve my money problem. All right. I hope we get some people reaching out. Why should we choose hydroponics? One, it uses less water. Hydroponic systems use about 70 to 90% less water than conventional gardening. And hydroponic system will never replace conventional gardening, at least not from where I am looking, right? But it helps in a lot of ways. And one way is the use of less water. And especially if you live in the corporate area, you know, for about a year, I sit on the drought management committee for Kingston, and trust me, friends, it's hard to get water. You know, Kingston has a deficit of millions of gallons of water per day. And you want a system that will save water, and hydroponic systems do allow you to save up to 90% of water. And that is like, if you see, this is like you using this small water bottle instead of this 600 milliliter instead of this 3,000 milliliter. So it saves a lot of water. Next, hydroponic systems can fit anywhere. This system on your right is one that's in my backyard now. It can hold up to 54 plants. And it takes up a space, you know, just about space where you'd park a Honda Fit. Big up to my Honda Fit drivers out there. So if you have space in your yard to park a Honda Fit, then a hydroponic system that can fit there. If you have space for a Honda Fit, then it can fit a hydroponic system. And it takes up to 90% less space than conventional gardening. Another reason why you should choose hydroponics is that, one, the plants will grow faster. And if you look, probably I should come out of the way now. Take myself out of the way, yes. If you look at this, you'll see where these photos, these were actually planted at the same time. And of course, given that we had drought the other day, the ones that were planted in the soil, of course, were affected by the drought. And the one on the right, with the tomatoes, where you can see the green tomatoes, those were planted in the hydroponic system. And if you realize, these actually blossom and grew faster than those that were planted in the soil. I love conventional gardening, but this is an advantage of using hydroponics. Next, why wouldn't one want to choose hydroponic gardening? Of course, there are drawbacks to it. One, you won't be able to grow a mango tree in it. I don't see anybody. Probably there is a way to, if there is a way to grow your mango tree in a hydroponic system. You can share that with me. And some other reasons. But why? The high startup cost. This is the main reason that will discourage people, the high startup cost. And I'll show you later in this presentation, there's a practical component to it. I'll show you where we are making strides in reducing the cost of the system with good design, and we can reduce the cost dramatically. Next, it might require a lot of technical knowledge. So to build a system like this on the right, you need to have knowledge of plumbing, to ensure you get the pipes cemented, same thing we call tangent, properly. And the pumps, you'll have to know the size pump, because you don't want to be like me when I was younger and before I learned about sizing pumps and so forth. And we bought a pump to pump water to for some construction from a stream nearby. And when we bought everything, we bought the pump, the pipes and everything, and we even wires to operate the pump. And when we started the pump couldn't pump water up to the house. And that was because the pump wasn't sized properly. So you need some of that knowledge. Basic welding or carpentry, depending on the frame that you're making, you're putting it on, you might need that too. You'll need basic plant science, like pH testing, and know what nutrient, and that is right across the board for agriculture. You need to know the pH and so forth. But that is why we have forums like these, where we can talk about, we can educate people, where all of us can be educated as how to grow our own food. The next drawback is poor outages and equipment failure. And that is something that the package system that I'll be introducing you to in a moment will help to reduce so the pump can fail, and if your pump fail, depending on how your system is designed, if your pump fail and if water and if the electricity goes away for a couple of days, the plant might die, and that's a drawback. So the Whet Solution package system, the one that we have now, it holds up to 25 plants. It retains water to keep the plants alive, just in case there is an outage, and it requires little to no tools for setup. And I'm going to introduce you to that in a moment. But let's talk numbers. If you look, the system, the hydroponic system that we're talking about, the Whet Solutions package system, typically it will cost you about $925. That is, if your electricity bill is over 100 kilowatt hour already, it will cost you $925 per month. And so that is one plant will cost you $37 per month. So for example, plant lettuce. Lettuce is what, $500 a pound now. So plant lettuce, and lettuce is $500 per pound. One lettuce one head of lettuce would probably cost say $100. You'll save $63 by using this, and say about $6, 60, give and take. $6, you'll actually pay back yourself, or it has a payback time of that would work out to be 1.5 year, 1 year and 8 months. Lettuce is close to what? $1,000. $1,000 per pound. Wow. And that's roughly about 4 lettuce on average would give you 1 pound. So friends, that's a lot of saving. And if you can produce 1 lettuce, so that's $250. That's $250 per head of lettuce. If you can save, so that's $250 minus $37. That's $200 and what? $13. What about? You're saving. You pay like yourself probably in less than a year if you get one of these systems, you know. So now what? I wonder why the biscuit is in the background. So it costs $37 to produce the system, to produce one head of lettuce or 1 plant, and 1 of these biscuits is really for $50. So just to put it in perspective as to how economical it is, you know, and you don't get much from this biscuit. That's a discussion for another time. So we can invest in our health, and it has many other benefits. So now we'll move to my garage, in which I'll share with you how to set up one of these systems. So in a moment, I'll turn over to Simone while I move to the garage and set up here. Well, if you want a bathroom break, you probably can go ahead and take your bathroom break and so forth. All right. Probably can ask questions while we're setting up.
Sure.
As we go along. Okay.
All right. Fantastic. Thank you. I hope you are enjoying